Hello, Nigeria. Welcome to the Teesas podcast. And I'm your host, SuperMo, bringing you this hot episode with energy and insight. And I'm here with my very own guy.
Yo, I'm Ugo, your co-host. And today, we are discussing the power of local Nigerian languages in learning. You know, Nigeria has over 500 languages that can help our kids excel. But we are stuck in forcing them to learn only English language.
Exactly. Here's the hook. Forcing English-only learning might be holding back millions of Nigerian kids, parents, students. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Ugo, do you think we are missing the mark by prioritizing English?
Yeah, SuperMo, this gets me fired up, I love statistics so much. Yeah, so give my flowers for that. Thank you so much. Yeah. UNESCO says kids understand 40% better in their mother's language. So why are we sidelining our local languages in Nigeria? So we're sidelining Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Ibibio, Efik, and those beautiful languages.
So for me, it's like ignoring our own treasure. To break it down, we have a special guest today. He's a Yoruba tutor who's transforming classrooms. But before we go deeper, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and share with your fellow parents. Don't gatekeep this.
That's right. Don't gatekeep this episode. This is one topic I'm very particular about because I see parents forcing their children to learn international languages like Spanish, French, even Korean. I think it's commencing me that I see young children trying to learn foreign languages and they are not yet familiar with theirs. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's bad, but we have to remember the place of our mother tongue. So how do we come in?
Well, children, according to the National Policy on Education in Nigeria, are actually mandated to learn using their language of the immediate environment, which is their mother tongue, in the early stages of primary school. Yeah,
that's right. But I think this is another challenge. Let me use myself as an example. I like using myself as an example. Yeah, I'm an Igbo boy. I'm right here in Lagos State. And, and they speak Yoruba in Lagos here. And then if I have a child now, what language do you expect my child to speak? Well, obviously, I want my child to speak Igbo language. But now you are in a Yoruba state, you want your child to speak Igbo language. I don't, this might be some challenges the child might face. The child might go to school now. In his class, he has probably like an Hausa classmate, a classmate from Uyo, and then there are so many people. So I think these factors might not allow the child learn, his or mother tongue quickly. What do you think?
So interestingly, actual practice in classroom often differs due to such challenges like this you have mentioned. In fact, schools in Nigeria are mostly multilingual in nature. Exactly. And this is why skilled teachers could switch between local languages and English to accommodate diverse language backgrounds. So for instance, a teacher might be trying to explain a point, and then in between speaking English, the teacher speaks Yoruba for better emphasis and clearer understanding. I attended a public school and I can read, write, and speak Yoruba fluently. And I learned better in class when my teacher...
I need to clap for you for that.
Yes, please. And for context, I'm of two nationalities. I'm Nigerian and Ghanaian. Please don't ask me about my Ghanaian language. But yeah, I can speak and read Yoruba very well. So I learn better in class when my teachers are able to code switch in order to explain important factors. So I agree with you and I understand where you're coming from.
There's so much to be said concerning this topic. So let's take a short break. And when we are back, we'll bring in our guests to shed more lights on this topic. Stay with us.
Rounding up the year, and it seems like the work just isn't rounding up. From the annual reports, content, and oh wait, with my Imose Oppo tablet, I get to attend meetings, stay connected, and feel comfort from my home or even at my vacation spot. My Imose Oppo tablet, where productivity meets style. Order yours today on www.imose.com.
Welcome back. My name remains SuperMo, and joining us today is our guest, Israel Makinde, a passionate Yoruba educator with Teesas Education, dedicated to making Yoruba learning effortless and impactful. is on a mission to preserve our culture by productive, interactive communication through language. Welcome, Israel. We are super delighted to have you on the show. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa.
Ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀ púpọ̀. I'm delighted to be here on your show.
Welcome. And so let's get into it. Why does learning in our mother tongue make such a difference? For instance, Yoruba language.
Wow. I love that question a lot. Mother tongue makes a lot of difference in our educational system because according to the National Policy on Education 1977, so the policy was brought into light when they said a child should learn the language of the immediate environment. Why? Because they wanted to use the mother tongue to teach any child. From when the child enters the nursery school, so they want the language to be part and the parcel of the child so that the child will learn the rudiment of the language and be able to use the language as a tool to interpret, to translate every other concept that will be learned in school. But these days, we discovered that based on the policy, either the government or the parents or the society, we have jettisoned this policy. We are no longer using the mother tongue in school. In fact, when I was in primary school, I think it was categorized as what? Vernacular.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have prioritized the English language or foreign language over the mother tongue. And the power of mother tongue in education cannot be overemphasized because it's a tool. When a child learns the language of the immediate environment, the child will be able to use it. And if the child, for instance, we use English language in Nigeria to learn virtually all subjects. So when the child understands the immediate language, which is either Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa, the child will be able to think about it and get the correct translation before he or she will be able to write in the correct language of the instruction. But these days, we discover that everything is just as turned upside down. I don't know why, but there is a need for us as a people, as a nation, to wake up and revive that national policy on education. I'm so happy. I think, was it not last week or 2 weeks ago, when the government said that, okay, they are bringing back when you choose English, mathematics, the next thing is one Nigerian language. So it could be either Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo. You choose one based on where the child comes from. So all these things, if the government can help put these policies in place and ensure the implementation, we see the power of indigenous language in our educational system.
That's so beautiful. I actually do agree with you. And you know, policies are created and are meant to be implemented for the success of the society. And I agree with you because even for STEM, explaining things like coding in Yoruba or explaining to a child physics in Igbo language, I believe is quite a game changer. You'd agree with me that just like when you see Asian children learning tech skills in other languages, it's different. It's its own. They listen, they understand, they're able to process it differently, right? While I was talking to my co-host earlier on the show, I told him I learned things better in school when my teachers code switch, when they are able to explain better to me in Yoruba language. But like he said, now if these kids speak Yoruba, they will say, oh, they are speaking vernacular. Also, indigenous languages, I think, also help to improve these children's academic responses. You know, they get to understand what they are being taught better. What do you think about teachers teaching children some specific subjects? I don't want to name them difficult. No subject is actually difficult, right? But subjects like coding, physics, mathematics, or algebra, explaining to them, laying more emphasis in their local languages. Do you think it will make any difference?
Yes, it will. In some years back, about 2 decades now, there was a research that was carried out at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. A professor, Fafunwa, carried the research out, and they used indigenous language, which is Yoruba, to teach sciences, mathematics, biology, and physics. And the students, they gathered to attend this lecture and to write the exam. They excelled, in fact, very well in this subject. Because of what? Because they were able to use the indigenous language to explain some terminologies, vocabularies, and something, the language that is so difficult, maybe in English, because it is not our own language, we are just trying. Yeah. But now they have been able to break it down to the language they understand. So they were able to perform excellently well. And also there is a teacher in Ogun State, Mr. Kayode Adewale by name. He's a public school teacher and he's a mathematics teacher. You know what he did? He used indigenous language, Yoruba language, to explain mathematical concepts in the class. And his students were excelling to the extent that the government picked interest in him and he went to the US for training and all that. And he got an award of $1 million. Do you understand? And he didn't stop there. He has successfully trained about 30,000 teachers in that line nationwide to be able to use indigenous language to teach children in class. I teach Yoruba. I teach Yoruba, for instance. So when you are in the class, when you teach them, you have the core Yoruba student, and you have, that's why in schools where I taught before, we had L1 and Yoruba L2. L1 was meant for the core Yoruba students, while L2 was meant for either Igbo or other tribes that may want to attend your class because maybe they picked interest in your subject. So we co-switch.
Nice. You
use English to explain the concepts to them and they grab it immediately. But if you are teaching L1, those are the Yoruba core students. You use L1 to teach them and they grab it, as you say it, they grab it immediately. So to co-switch and use Yoruba as a tool to teach difficult subjects is very, very important. When our students understand all these concepts in their mother tongue, it will not be difficult. You see math failure in English today, math failure in mathematics and other subjects today, because it happens because many of these students don't understand the language. They find it difficult and probably they are complex to them. But it's not actually complex because it is not our language. So if we break it down into our language step by step, they will grab it immediately.
Awesome, awesome. So I love that you've provided context. And I would say that with your explanations and your references, we can see clearly that teaching these children in their local languages actually helps and it makes a huge difference. So parents, listen up. Your child won't struggle with homework if you start to teach them using their mother tongue like Yoruba, Igbo, or even the Pidgin language. And also students, do you use your local language to study? I actually want to know. Share in the comment section. So please tell us, what role do you believe local languages play in preserving cultural heritage and identity in education?
Wow. You can see me, I'm a typical example of what you're talking about.
I know, right? I love your old attire.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, so
is that correct?
Yes, Abetiaja.
Nice.
As you can see me, I'm wearing Yoruba regalia.
Yeah.
Okay? So language is our culture, is our heritage. Everything is embedded in our language. Be it the way we dress, be it the way we act, be it being respectful, to respect elders, to do this and that. Everything is embedded in the language. So when a child does not understand the indigenous language, the child might not be able to know how to respect elders, may not be able to know how to wear cultural dresses and, attract other people. So our language is our culture, is our identity. Yeah. It baffles me sometimes when you see a child, maybe a Yoruba child, say, "Oh, what's your name?" Say, Oluwatumise, for instance. You are attracted to that child because, maybe this child should be a Yoruba child. Maybe you wanted to go further now to ask some questions, but you are disappointed. The child cannot speak. He cannot hear what you are saying. So the identity there is the name there because the child bears the Yoruba name or Igbo name. And the expectation is that maybe the child should be able to communicate or to be able to in the local dialect. But we are now disappointed because the child cannot do it. So the child has lost the identity there. And sometimes you don't blame the children. The parents, the society, they also have roles to contribute in what you are saying. Some parents don't allow their children to speak local dialects or local languages at home. There might be from, maybe you are an Igbo parent, so it is expected that you groom your children in such a way that they'll be able to speak Igbo. If you're a Yoruba parent, groom your children in a way that they can also replicate what you portray. But in some homes today, in fact, if they speak the local dialect, it's a problem. They will spank the child. Why? What? It will spoil your, it will spoil your English fluency. You will not be able to speak very well, this and that. So the child, in fact, will be afraid of speaking their mother tongue. So, and it shouldn't be.
Angular perspective you brought to this, because more often than not, I personally tend to wonder, I hope we are not going to lose out on the balance between letting our children know how well to speak our local dialects and also proficiency in English language. So for someone like me whose parents, I grew up in a multilingual home where my parents speak Yoruba and they speak Twi. So I can read, write, and speak Yoruba. I like to brag about it. It's not common, right? However, I also speak good English. Now, in today's world, like you said, parents avoid their kids speaking local dialects at home. They don't want anything to damage their English. So tell me, as a local language tutor, how then do you think educators can balance the use of local languages with the need for proficiency in English or other global languages? Can we actually strike a balance? What do you think?
Yes, we can actually do that. I see it as an ignorance. When a parent is trying to prevent their children from speaking the local dialect, because it depends on the home where the child comes from. So whatever you want your child to be in the society, you start grooming the child in that manner. As you see me, I'm a trained teacher, and I've been in the system for decades. So now I will cite an example of the day I got, I went to a school for an interview. I was invited. When I got there, I dressed in suit with my portfolio or bag. And so a child came to meet me later when I was employed in the school. They said, "Oh, Mr. Makinde, the day they invited you, the day you came to our school for the first time, I thought you came to teach a big subject, all this subject. But when you now got there with your marker and you now wrote Ede Yoruba, that she was so disappointed." I said, "Why are you disappointed?" She said, "No, you dressed better than the subject you came to teach."
Interesting.
In that kind of, scenario, and that child with that kind of orientation, you know that child does not have interest in that language. So as a professional, now it is your duty to teach the child, okay, this is English, while you are in English class, all the rudiments of the language, study it and know it. This is Yoruba. When you are learning Yoruba, also the rudiments of that Yoruba, you study it, so that when you are speaking either of the two, there will be no interference. You are able to speak well your English, you are able to also speak well your Yoruba without any interference. If I switch to Yoruba now, I can use Yoruba language from morning to night without hearing any word in English there. That is what we are talking about. So a child also can learn it in that manner.
I love the example you give. You could tell clearly that such a child already views local languages as inferior.
Yes.
And thinks that, it has to be English. Too much westernization, permit me to say. But do you have examples of successful initiatives or programs you think have been able to incorporate teaching kids in local languages in the system? Do you have examples of initiatives you can?
Yes, there are a lot of programs that we have designed to help the student, and we have success stories to tell. So take, for instance, when I was citing my examples the other time, I said in the classrooms, we designed the curriculum in a form that it takes care of the needs of the students, either Yoruba students or non-Yoruba speakers. That was why we have L1 and L2. So may I tell you that even those that attended our classes for L2, they did even better than L1 because of the interest and all that. And they were able to pass. Not only that, they even joined our co-curricular activities, drama group, debate in Yoruba, dance, and all that because of the interest. So we were able to bring them up. And initially, they didn't want to hear anything about that. But because I combined education with fun, and I made it fun for them, and they always look forward even to see me in the class. Also, Teesas education. In this Teesas education, we have many videos that we have shot. In fact, we have shot videos using local languages, not only Yoruba, Tiv, Hausa, Igbo, Benin, Idoma, and so many languages. We've shot videos that covers all the topics in primary school, in sciences, in mathematics, across all classes. We've done that. So our audience can go online and check for those videos. It will help them. So we have success stories that we can point at that have, that has helped the individuals and even the society at large. And also cited an example of the man who used Yoruba to teach mathematics the other time. Yeah. Now, he has been able to train over 30,000 even professionals that will go in that line and also bring that will be able to use local languages in their various disciplines and subjects so that the student can understand better. And this is the mission, and that's why I'm passionate about this. So we go here and there just to make sure that the language is alive and it doesn't go into extinction.
That's impressive. I'm really impressed, and I love that education is taking a new turn. It's moving, it's evolving, and the end goal, like you said, is to ensure that these children are well educated and they clearly understand what they are being taught. And if education would get easier for them and it would be much more fun, it would be more engaging using their local dialects, why not? Let's embrace it. So when given this opportunities like platforms like this to advise and give suggestions to policymakers, education institutions, and parents about the importance of both local languages in learning and also balancing proficiency in English language, what message would you like to convey to them? What would be your advice to them? Just give us like 3 cogent advice. What would you like to say to them? Okay, my advice will go directly to the government first, because we said national policy on education. It is national, it's not individual, and that is the government message across board. So if truly government wants any Nigerian child to learn any local language at all, so they should make sure that the national policy on education is revived. And they should also make provision for it to be done in schools. Take, for instance, want them to learn local languages in school. Where are the teachers? So government needs to recruit teachers, language teachers, to be able to train them. And when they are recruiting teachers in each school, I advise that they have the three languages. Igbo, major languages, we have more than 500, as you rightly said. Yeah. But the 3 major languages, Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. So these teachers should be available in school so that the child can pick the interest, anyone they want to go for. And also, they should make it compulsory as it used to be in the past. Right. You want to write your work, you must make one Nigerian language compulsory. They must pass it before they gain admission into higher institution. Now to the parents, I would like to advise them that they should allow their children to learn indigenous languages anywhere that is available for them to learn. Because I had a horrible experience in my former school when we gave some textbooks for some subjects, including Yoruba. We gave children, okay, go home, go and show your parents. The parent paid for other subjects, other textbooks, but for Yoruba, the parent beat the child and allowed the child to return the textbook to us. And the child was crying when she got to me. So I said, don't worry. If you want to learn Yoruba, I will teach you. So, although you can't give what you don't have, some parents cannot even speak this indigenous language. Actually, they can't. So
if they can't,
what will they teach their kids?
What will they teach their kids? So I just encourage those who can speak very well to encourage them to speak at home. And to the children themselves, they should have interest in this indigenous language. They should know that their language is their identity. It's not that in school, You see a language teacher and you look down on the teacher as if the person is less human. So it is not good. So when a child does not have interest in a particular language, it is difficult to teach that child. Even if angels come down, they will not be able to do anything. So the interest of the child matters.
Interesting. It's been such an enlightening episode. I really enjoyed it. I learned as well, and I'm glad we are able to reorient both the government, the parents, the kids, and the society at large. It is indeed a great honor for having you, for being such an intelligent guest on today's episode. We are really delighted to have you. And we'll watch some interesting videos now. And when we are back, we'll have Ugo join us again. Stay with us.
Yeah, and you like Coco being me, and what be I meeting?
Kí wá ní ẹ̀gbọ́n? Kí ni ìdàkejì ẹ̀gbọ́n?
Ẹ̀gbọ́n ni ẹntì àbúrò máa ń tẹ̀lé nǹkan tí ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣe. Àbúrò máa ń fẹ́ wà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀gbọ́n gan, àbúrò máa fẹ́ ṣe.
Ọkọ. Àyìnlẹ̀ dàbọ̀. Kàyí mo ti sọ òyìnbó.
Kàyí mo ti sọ òyìnbó.
Kọ̀m̀bíà.
Kọ̀m̀bíà.
Go débé.
Go débé.
Watermelon fire ọkụ.
Yeah, now 1 liter. If I increase the pressure now, I go see I see the volume go dey come down. For example, make I add pressure to Ghana. Boom, I don't add 10 kg. See I see the volume don't come down to 0.9 liter. Let me add another pressure again. The more pressure I add, the same I say the more the volume go dey go down.
Wow. Welcome back, viewers. Mo, what do you have to say about the video we just watched?
I think it was interesting. I was really fascinated, particularly the video where the teacher had to teach mathematics in Yoruba, Ilarin, and all of that, to explain measurements clearly. It was really nice. And I was really amazed at the fact that those little kids could speak Yoruba fluently.
Yeah.
I bet you some adults can't even. They can't even speak Yoruba that clear. It was nice. It was fluent. You could tell they weren't doing it for the camera. It's a part and parcel of their family culture. And I think that's something parents should emulate today.
Yeah, true about that. And what got to me personally was the Chinese people learning Igbo language. Now this is not Nigeria, confined to Nigeria alone, even foreigners, not even in our continent, but in Asia, they are learning the Igbo language. And they were learning it in the class. So it's something that probably has been approved by the government.
Yeah, it's structured.
Yeah, structured. So they are if they can learn it in classes like that, I think we should adopt the same for our local languages too in Nigeria. What do you think about that?
I actually agree. Israel said a lot when he came on here.
Yes.
He profiled solutions and also shared success stories of parents, children that are beneficiaries of teaching in local languages. And I'm sure our viewers had a lot to learn from him. This episode has been awesome. It's been value-packed. And my key takeaway is that Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba, they kind of make learning much more easy.
Yeah.
They make learning easier and more meaningful. So parents, don't let anyone tell you your language is invaluable. In fact, it's your child's key to success.
Yeah, very, very important. I want to make reference to one thing Israel said. Yeah, he talked about you introducing yourself. For example, you say your name is Kemi, and then you don't have knowledge about your Yoruba language. It's something that I've seen very prevalent in Nigeria today. Very prevalent in Nigeria today. Yeah. So, like he said, it starts with the government, and then families too. So we have to start from the core. Families, parents should teach their children, and they should be proud of their identity, their roots, their names. Like someone said, Westernization is not civilization. So when you go out for like meetings and introduce your name, your native name.
Yeah.
Oh, Yamo Modupe.
No, my full name is Modupeola.
Wow.
Akinyemi.
Yes, please.
That's my full name. And I'm from Osun State. Oshogbo, to be precise.
Okay. And Ugochukwu. Yeah, I'm from Imo State. And Israel, when he introduced himself, you can see his name too is Makinde.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something we should be proud of. Not, oh, you meet someone, you say, my name is Sylvester Fletcher.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Brittany. Where are you from? You see, it's very important.
I mean, our culture is our heritage and our identity, and it's something we should be proud of. I think that is where the reorientation should start from.
Yes.
That's a topic for another day, but I think parents should really reduce this old Jason, Zendaya. We've had enough of that. Give these kids beautiful native names, you know.
Yeah.
I love Kamsi Yochuku.
Yeah.
I love Chidera. I love Chiamaka.
Yeah.
I love Oluwabukayomi and the likes of it. They are very beautiful names, you know, that parents can actually name their children. Let's rest with the Brittany, Jason, Zendaya, Zikor. I don't know, just a lot of it. I enjoyed this episode, absolutely. Dear viewers, did you miss our episode 1? We talked about the low rate of employable Nigerian graduates. Go watch it now. Nigeria's education system won't change unless we all push for it.
Yeah, that's right. And subscribe to Teesas TV on YouTube. Share this video and join us next week for more education insights. Bye for now. Kemesia.
Bye for now. Odabo Odiba.